Okay, do Catholics believe that just showing up at church is enough to go to heaven? Well, the short answer is no. That's not enough to go to heaven. I mean, anyone with common sense could tell you Adolf Hitler was baptized and showed up for his baptism. But there's a chance that Adolf Hitler is not in heaven. We don't have the right to judge, but we have to be open to the radical possibility that Adolf Hitler received God's grace in baptism, or God gave it in baptism, but Adolf Hitler eventually rejected that grace. So no, it is not enough just to show up at sacraments and think that everything is just great with God because we're at a Catholic ritual. Catholics do not teach that. As Pope Francis said, real faith or real belief is personally welcoming Jesus into our lives. At some point, we have to make a personal decision about Jesus. Pope John Paul II said the same thing. He said it's painfully clear that many Catholics and Christians in other churches have never made a personal commitment to the Lord Jesus, and that something is missing for us if we do that. But on a theological level, let me just unpack this for you a little bit. According to the Catechism, it's quite possible that we can reject God's grace in point 1993 in the Catechism. It also says that the fruits of the sacrament, or the results of the sacrament that can change our lives and bring us to heaven, the fruits of the sacrament are dependent on our disposition. In other words, God can give us His love in the sacraments, and He always will, unconditionally. The sacraments are always giving God's grace. The question is are we accepting it, and can we reject it? And the answer is yes, we can reject that. It says it very clearly in Sacrosanctum Concilium as well. It says that it's important for pastors to recognize that something more is required than the mere observation of laws at these celebrations, but for liturgy to produce its full effects, the faithful must come with the proper disposition, or they will, instead of cooperating with God's grace, they'll attend the sacraments in vain. And in Lumen Gentium it even says it's possible that there are people who are part of the church in a visible way, however, who are not saved. Though they are visibly a part of the body of the church, they are only a part of the body of the church in a quote-unquote bodily manner and not in our hearts. In other words, you can show up at Mass and not be saved. What really saves you is that personal decision to accept God in your life, or what the Catechism calls an assent of faith. At some point you have to decide between you and Jesus whether you're going to accept His grace and receive it and cooperate with it, or if you're going to reject the grace that God offers you in all the sacraments. At the end of the day, we have to make a fundamental decision. Are we saying yes or no to Jesus? And no ritual attendance can replace that need for a fundamental decision on our parts. Adolf Hitler had the ritual attendance. However, it's quite possible that he never made the fundamental decision to receive Jesus in his life personally and to cooperate with the grace that was freely given to him in the sacraments. I hope that helps.